Welcome to another episode of What's This?, where Illinois park naturalists answer questions about nature's curiosities.
Hi, my name is Lisa Sons, and I am the park naturalist for Star Rock and Matheson State Parks. Can you guess what this episode of What's This is about? I'll give you a hint. What has rings but no fingers, and what leaves but doesn't go anywhere? Did you guess tree? If you did, you're correct.
When autumn arrives each year, many of us pull out our sweaters, grab a pumpkin spice latte or apple cider, and hit the woodland trails in search of fall hues of yellow, gold, orange, and red. But how many of you have asked yourself, why? Why do the leaves change color each fall? I mean, are there wood fairies sprinkling magical dust over the forest canopy as we sleep? Or better yet, does Bigfoot actually exist, and does he spend his time each fall painting the leaves with a brush and paint can in hand? No, I'm afraid not. The real answer involves several factors such as changes in the weather, daylight hours, amount of sunlight, and molecules called pigments found in the leaves themselves.
Basically, fall is nature's way of telling trees that the growing season is over and to begin preparations for the slumber of winter. But how does preparing for winter change leaf color? I'm glad you asked.
Leaves are like the kitchen for the tree during the growing seasons of spring and summer. Leaves are green because of pigments called chlorophyll. Chlorophyll are the chefs in the kitchen. They spend the growing season whipping up batches of carbohydrates, yay sugar, through a recipe called photosynthesis, with ingredients like sunlight, water, and carbon dioxide. When autumn arrives and the amount of sunlight and daylight hours wane, the tree stops producing chlorophyll and begins to close up kitchen. Trees will start the process of absorbing those nutrients or carbohydrates as they begin to close off their leaves from the branch in preparation of winter. As the chlorophyll and nutrients are absorbed, other pigments that were always present in the leaf but masked by the green chlorophyll shine through in fall. Pigments, known as xanthophylls, create the hues of yellow found in a majority of trees in the fall, like hickory and walnut. Carotenoids produce the vibrant golds and orange palette of colors seen in maples, aspen, sassafras, and persimmon. But what about the eye-catching reds, burgundies, and purples? Those unique colors are created by yet another pigment called anthocyanin. Anthocyanins are produced by the tree in fall to provide protection for the leaf. See, during the growing season, chlorophyll acts as a green beach umbrella, providing protection from harmful rays from the sun. But as the chlorophyll fade and fall, so does the leaf's protection. Anthocyanins to the rescue. These pigments act as sunblock, giving the tree time to absorb nutrients. Anthocyanins produce red and purple hues found in trees like maples, sumac, and dogwoods.
Favorite fall color? Or maybe even a favorite tree? Well, my favorite tree is the sassafras. Sassafras albutum is basically nature's very own scratch and sniff sticker. And the tree produces fall colors every fall in yellows, orange, and even reds. Let's take a closer look. Let's check out this sassafras sapling. Now, young sassafras is actually easily identified by the green twigs.
Adult sassafras trees like this one have deeply furrowed brown bark with reddish bark underneath. They can grow to heights of 30 to 60 feet tall in the understory of the woodlands.
Sassafras leaves actually have 3 different leaf shapes that I'm going to show you on this tree here. The first one is an unlobed or no-lobed oval shaped leaf. The second common leaf is this one right here, and this one is one-lobed. You can see the lobe right here, and we call this the mitten. Now, my favorite leaf shape on the sassafras is the two-lobed. Why? Because I think it looks like a dinosaur track. Yes! I found a sassafras leaf. Now remember, it's never a good idea to take a living plant or a tree, or even take leaves still attached to the tree when you're at a state park. You can, however, ask permission to collect fallen leaves like the sassafras, maybe for a school project. I like looking for fallen sassafras leaves this time of year because remember what I said about nature's scratch and sniff sticker? Sassafras leaves remind me of my childhood. Eating bowls of Fruit Loop in the morning before I had to board the bus for school. Why Fruit Loops? Well, every part of the tree, including the leaf, the green twigs or branches, and the deeply brown furrowed bark, smell. And it's a good smell. Some folks say it smells spicy. Others say it smells like lemon. I've even had folks tell me it smells like lemon pledge. But for me, I vote for Fruit Loops.
Female sassafras trees can be identified in late summer and early fall by their blue oval-shaped berries called drupes on bright red twigs. Drupes are an important food source for mammals and birds, like the white-tailed deer, groundhog, wild turkey, and northern bobwhite quail.
Prior to 1976, sassafras was actually used to flavor items like candy, tea, and even root beer. Now that I have created a group of sassafras searching, sassafras leaf sniffing folks out there, I think it's time for me to turn it on over.
I'm Molly Oliver, and I'm at Cache River State Natural Area, and I'm going to be telling you about bald cypress trees, Taxodium distichum. Bald cypress live in swamp habitats, wetland habitats in southernmost Illinois, in about the bottom 12 counties. Bald cypress trees can live other places than swamps, but naturally they're in a swamp habitat. You can plant them at your home. They will do fine all the way up into northern Illinois. Bald cypress trees are a deciduous conifer. They're just like a pine or a fir or a spruce, except for they lose their leaves all at one time during the winter. They're bald, where most conifers lose their leaves as the new ones are growing in. Leaves are different too in that they're soft and feathery. They're not stiff and prickly like most conifers. The leaves are green through the summer, a light green, but then they become a rusty brown or a red orange brown color. Their cone looks different than what you think of a pine cone or a spruce cone. They look like little balls that are kind of a leathery green when they are first coming out, but then they turn brown and dry and they start falling apart. When you look at them, sometimes it looks like they have sections like a soccer ball would have, and those are the sections that fall apart that have the seed in them. Bald cypress trees do have a resin, so those seed pods may feel sticky. Bald cypress trees are unique too in that they have knees on their root system. And the knees seem to grow in proportion to the level of water that they're growing in. So if it's shallow water, they'll put up knees that get above the water, but they won't keep growing up. And they never become a tree. It's always just a growth on the root system. Their trunk base. When they're growing on dry land, their trunk looks like any other trunk. Kind of straight, flares a little bit at the bottom. But if they're growing in water, the trunk becomes fat, bulbous-like, and is quite a bit larger than the trunk that goes above the water. There you go, Jennifer.
Thanks, Mahali. Hey, welcome to Giant City State Park. Nature Nerd Jen here, and today we're going to talk about the fabulous flowering dogwood, or Cornus Florida. So I have a question for you. How can you tell if a tree is a dogwood? I'll give you a second. By the bark. park. Get it? Flowering dogwoods really do have a very distinctive gray to brown alligator skin-like bark that is divided into irregular square plates. This, along with the onion-like shape of the flower buds, make it fairly easy to identify during the winter months. They're an understory tree, so they grow much shorter than the rest of the forest canopy. The leaves of a dogwood are opposite and have smooth edges with a pointed tip. The veins are very prominent and curve parallel to the margins of the leaves. Summer leaves are medium to dark green, with fall leaves turning a brilliant shade of deep red. Flowering dogwoods are most recognizable in spring as they host a lovely burst of white blooms. Well, actually, the white petals are not petals, but bracts. The actual flowers are the green and yellow cluster in the middle. The fruit, or drupes, ripen in October and are also a brilliant shade of red. The drupes are eaten by a wide variety of bird and mammals, including northern cardinals, tufted titmouse, wild turkeys, squirrels, skunks, and many species of woodpeckers. Even though this tree only grows wild in the southern half of Illinois, it makes a great landscaping addition anywhere in the state. It's beautiful and beneficial to wildlife. So, how do you think the bark feels? Rough. Rough. Got it? Hey, Jackie. Cat.
Whoa, Jen, you startled me. Hey, this is Jackie Collison, Natural Resources Coordinator at Bellwood State Park. And today I was just collecting fruit from one of my favorite trees of the fall, the American persimmon, Diospyros virginiana. So as you saw earlier, I had a handful of persimmons, the fruit from this tree. This is a very beneficial food source during this time of the year. Several critters in the forest love persimmons. Flying squirrels, raccoons, deer, possums, many different animals. Even hackberry butterflies. Humans love to also collect these because you can make cookies, cakes, persimmon pudding. So this is a wonderful resource for all of us during the fall. Other characteristics that can help you identify this tree, this one is the bark pattern that really stands out. So from a distance, if you look at this tree, it has dark, kind of brownish gray bark, but it's shaped in rectangular or square blocks. Also, by the leaf shape. This is a simple leaf, and the leaf margins do not have any teeth. This is called a smooth leaf margin. And this time of the year, they are green still in our area, but they're starting to turn yellows, oranges, and a little bit of red. So I just went out and I collected a few more persimmons. Some people believe that persimmon seeds can predict what the winter's gonna be like. So if it's mild, we have a lot of snow, we're gonna go in and I'm gonna show you exactly what I'm talking about by cutting the seeds open.
So after you've collected your persimmons, bring them in and start taking the seeds out. As you can see, we've cut open the seeds and we're looking for the white portion inside, called the cotyledon. If it's a fork, that means it's going to be a mild winter, a spoon, lots of snow, and if it's a knife, it's going to be bitterly cold. After looking at each one of them, it looks like we have all spoons.
Thanks for joining us for our fall edition. We hope that you all come out to visit our state parks. You can also check us out online at www.illinois.gov/DNR to see our upcoming programs. Feel free to join us next time. See you later.